All right, we got that. And we got this. We got this. We got to do this. And I'm going to make an announcement in the Discord.
Lovely.
Streams. All right, sweet. Cool. All right. Good morning, y'all. No one's here yet, but good morning. Excited for this episode. A little hump day episode. I really wish Geico didn't move away from the hump day. We need to bring that back. But excited for this. Y'all say, hey, we'd love to hear from you. Excited to hang with Jordyn. It's fun to I'm excited to start bringing on some Randstad people. And so Jordyn's kind of my first victim / guest. So excited to have her on. It's gonna be a fun conversation today. I think Jordyn is gonna bring I always love chatting. Obviously this live stream podcast is, it's like I said yesterday on my live with Angie Jones, is kind of the soft skills podcast of the technical industry, right? Mm-hmm. It's just, hard skills, soft skills, right? Hard skills, technical skills. This is the soft skills. But I always really love talking with recruiters on this as well, and just people in the staffing industry, because at the end of the day, I think both think a little differently, right? So yesterday's conversation with Angie, we talked about how AI kind of affects hiring, and we talked about it from a VP level from an engineering perspective. But I really truly feel like you kind of get a different type of insight talking with other people in the recruiting industry, especially the agency side. So excited to have Jordyn on today. So please say, hey, would love to hear from you again. I always tell people this show started out 5 years ago. This show started out 5 years ago as for me to bring on guests. But what I've really realized over the last year and a half is this thing is really more of a networking platform. To where people can, hop on for 30 minutes, say, hey, connect with other people in the chat, connect with my guest. I mean, it's like I've told people, like, my whole goal is I want you to network off the back of me, which is really kind of my whole thesis for kind of building community at Torque is, I've spent 13 years in the industry and know a lot of people, and and I want to give you access to those people. I always tell folks, if you connect with every single guest that I've had on my show for 5 years and everybody who's been in the chat, your network will be expansive. And I would put my network up against anybody's in terms of just, what it could mean for your career. So again, for those of you tuning in right now, please say, hey. We don't know if you're watching unless you say, hey, right? Like we're not in the metaverse yet. Even though Guidance Counselor 2.0 in the metaverse would be pretty sick. But we're not there yet, so I can't see you. So the only way to know if you're watching is to comment. So please comment and let us know you're tuning in. Always love to know where people are tuned into. So if you want to throw up your location, we'd love that as well. We got some people tuned in this morning already. So want to give obviously kind of the traditional housekeeping things. First and foremost, shout out to AppRight. I'm on the AppRight Heroes program. I'm probably the only non-technical hero on a technical program, Heroes program. So check them out. Back into service type of technology. If you want to spin up an app pretty quickly, highly recommend checking out AppRight. Also, too, I'm going to drop the discount code in the Torque Discord today. I have credits for if you want to spin up an app using AppRight. I have free credits. And that's only available to Torque members in the Discord. So please jump in there. Also, too, speaking of the Discord, we got a lot going on, and Jordyn can attest to this. Jordyn is very active. We love Jordyn's presence in the Discord, but we got a lot going on. I had to send in some numbers. We have about 5 to 7 streams a week. Just everything going on with our team. So if you're looking to get involved and want to meet some people, hop on to lives like this, like Jason's, like Brianna's, like Jimenez. We'd love to have you, but go get involved. Torque.community kind of lays out everything. If you want to get texted when I go live, specifically, text me. This is my number. It goes to me. It's not some AI bot. It's actually me. And would love to have you part of the texting community. And then, like I said, if you want to jump in the Discord, please do that. Let's see. We got some people in the chat now. Daniel, it's good to see you. Chris, Ange, it's great to see you. Angelo, not Los, by the way. I usually call him. I've called Angelos for as long as I've been working here, so about 8 months, and he just corrected me in Amsterdam. It says it's Angelo. So Angelo.
It's that long, man.
Yeah. So Angelo, it's good to see you, man. Also, great profile picture. Sally, it's good to see you. Jeff, it's good to see you. Erica, here we go. LinkedIn user, it's good to see you. I don't know who you are, but it's good to see you. Glad you're here. Jordyn, Sebastian, I need to connect with the guests today. Yes, you do. Roxy, our girl, is here. It's good to see you, Roxy. Chris, there we go. Shout out Jordyn for getting that.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. That will be wild. We got to come up. If you are willing to get a Torque gear as a tattoo, you can have unlimited swag. There, I said it.
Sign me up.
Brianna will get mad at me for saying that publicly. Let's see here. Again, Chris, it's good to see you this morning. Text for the win. I love it. Mazen, my guy from Durham. It's good to see you, brother. Already missing Durham and the cold brew from the Durham Hotel. Elite cold brew in Durham at the Durham Hotel. Ricardo, it's good to see you. I am down for a Torque tattoo. Hey, listen.
Yes. Oh my God, this is great. Okay, we need to start like a separate
make it a thing. That would be insane. You talking about a community who's willing to get your logo on them permanently? That is some next level dedication. And honestly, that's my goal. That's my goal. I think that's my new thesis, to create a community so strong where you get a tattoo.
Well, there's another word for that, you know.
Cult as well. We won't go there. Let's see here. Preparing myself for feeling like Taylor constantly saying my name in this episode.
Oh
I love it. Brian, it's good to see you figured this out. Good, Brian. I'm glad you figured it out. I'm good. It's good to see you. All right. So, sent me there. Yes. Roxy took part of that cold brew. I'm taking this coffee worldwide now. Yeah, 100%. It's that good. All right. So enough of me yapping. Jordyn, let's give the people what they want. Who are you? What do you do at Randstad? And we'll go from there.
So I'm Jordyn. I'm an account manager at Randstad. I work primarily in the tech and telecom engineering space. So my clients are in the telecom arena, but I support them from different angles here in the US and then overseas as well. So primarily in Eastern Europe.
I love it. And you've been here for how long?
5.5 years, almost. Yeah, we'll round up. It's like something 5.4 or something like that.
And that's a long time. Here. You know, I always tell
folks, the staffing industry for like to be at the same place. You know,
correct. Usually, and again, I mean, I'll give a shout out to Randstad. I mean, again, I'm still getting indoctrinated in Randstad, and you know, I would say I think one of the things I've seen is that people tend to be here for longer than kind of the average, which is a good sign for Randstad. And I always tell people I would always work with an agency recruiter who has been at a company really for more than 2 years. I think that's kind of the unlock there. So I want to start here, and so we're going to kind of go over a slew of topics here pretty quickly. The first thing is Jordyn, I want you to break down kind of agency versus internal. Right. I think a lot of people still don't understand the type of recruiters that are out there. So can you break that down?
Yeah. So I guess I'll just split it directly down, you know, one versus the other.
Yeah.
If you're working at a corporate, like a large corporation, and you're an internal recruiter, you're recruiting strictly for that organization, whatever department that they specifically assign you to. Right. So when you reach out to candidates, anyone on the job market, you're reaching out specifically to them for that opportunity. Now, when you work with or someone that's in the agency side, you have access to hopefully thousands of clients, right? Depending on the agency that you work for. So as an agency recruiter, you have your net is casted, cast much wider. You have the opportunity to get a lot more jobs, to work in a lot of different areas, to work in a lot of different industries too. Like, I think that's the point, right? And even though an agency recruiter is typically verticalized or assigned to a specific industry, we have access to all of the clients within, specifically within tech for Randstad, right? Tech and engineering. depending on how they segment their industries.
How would you, as a job seeker, knowing what you know now about the industry, how would you navigate the job search if you're looking right now in a balance of networking with agency recruiters versus internal recruiters? How would you, I guess, really, how would you go about like meeting people and stuff?
So I think one of the things that I would do, and I know you point this out a lot, which I totally love. I love that is that whenever you like, if you have a specific company, right, that you want to work for, I would come at it from every angle, right? Like find an internal recruiter, find an agency recruiter, network with someone who works there. Who did you go to college with? Who did you do this with? Who has the same interests as you, right? Like the greater you expand your network, the higher your chances are going to be of getting in that opportunity, right? Like the more you know. So if it were me, knowing what I know now, I would absolutely just go 100% full send.
Jason, it's good to see you. Let me ask you this. So, because I really feel like there's 3 buckets when it comes to networking for jobs, right? You have, well, actually 4. You have your non-engineering leaders who could probably make referrals, right, into the company. You have your engineering leaders like Angie, who I had on yesterday, or like Dan. It's good to see you, Dan. That profile picture is unbelievable, by the way.
The human hand.
Yeah. So you got your employees of tech companies, you have your hiring managers of tech companies, then you have your internal recruiters, and you have your agency recruiters. So you have 4 buckets to essentially navigate your job search on. And I feel like, and even me, sometimes I feel like I harp on too much on the hiring manager and the internal like tech people, but I really feel like you should probably be talking to at least 1 agency recruiter a week and 1 internal recruiter a week. Thoughts on that?
No, I totally agree. It's depending on how active you are, right? If you're really like looking for a job, oh my God, are you drinking cold brew?
No, it's not really cold. It's like I brew it myself, so it's not super caffeine. It's more iced coffee.
Gotcha.
Cold brew. Yeah.
Okay. So yes, depending on how heavy on the job market you are, right? Like if you need a job soon, like go for it, full send. I would totally agree. I also will say like, yes, I reach out to hiring managers, like get as much face time with people as you possibly can. But a lot of times hiring managers are very busy and they're typically the ones that are hardest to get in touch with. So whatever avenue you can find to like really put yourself out there, the quickest way I think is the best way, which in my opinion, maybe biased, is going to be recruiting.
What do you, so, and again, kind of put you on the spot here. So, so let's say you get laid off tomorrow. Hopefully it does not happen.
Doomsday prep.
Yeah. Doomsday prep. How would you go about the job search now if you were to be laid off tomorrow?
If I was laid off tomorrow, first of all, I would immediately text you and be like, Taylor, I'm really good job.
Yeah.
No, I would though. I will say, to your point that you mentioned earlier, through watching this stream, through being active in the Torque Discord, like I have expanded my network significantly. Okay. Like I have totally piggybacked off of your network, which is great. Like I love that.
I mean that's the whole point. Yeah, also, that clip right there, we're going to get my video guy to edit that clip because that was, so thank you.
Patrick, shout out to Patrick.
Yeah.
So yes, I definitely would. First of all, I would make a decision on what I actually wanted to do. You know what I mean? Like, do I want to go back into staffing? Do I want to go into like more of a like software as a service or tech consulting, like whatever. I would obviously brainstorm that, but reaching out to my network, like I would start posting on LinkedIn, like which I post on LinkedIn all the time anyway, but you know what I mean? Reaching out to people directly. That would be my number one method. I mean, I have a pretty decent, even in the staffing world, like network now that if I reached out to a couple of friends tomorrow, if I got laid off and I was like, hey, I need a job, they'd be like, cool, like we got you.
Do you think people should I'm not saying they have it written down. I think it would be good, but do you think like part of me is wondering, like, should people have like, hey, I have 20, 30, 40 people that are basically on speed dial that range from recruiters to colleagues to hiring managers. Do you think everybody should probably have that somewhere, at least in their mind, ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, doomsday prep. Like, I am a let's play this out to the very end, like kind of person. So I would say yes, but I think it doesn't necessarily have to be like this list.
Sure.
If you can invest your time, like when you have it, to like be active in a community like Twerk, for example, that's like, I love it. But if you invest your time, like you already are doing that, right? Without even like consciously saying, oh, I have like 20 people now that I could reach out to, or, you know, potentially like who can like have my back like, if I needed it.
Yeah, absolutely. There's actually been a few comments already. Dave comes in here, agreed on the agency and internal at least once a week. Even if you don't need a job soon, proactive engagement is key. Getting a job is in itself a sales job. Yeah, I mean, one of the things I say this story a lot when I talk at conferences is that my dad was in the restaurant industry, or he still is, and he hit me up after he ran the Outback Steakhouse. Did I tell you that he ran the Outback? That's why I love Outback Steakhouse so much.
Okay, I heard we are the same page as this. I didn't know he ran it Outback, but past the Bloomin' Onion, my favorite.
Yeah. So my dad was the proprietor of the Columbia, South Carolina store for 25 years.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, I was like a 4-year-old eating steak in Outback. I mean, I grew up on Outback, and so. This is not an Outback plug, by the way, but Outback is your local.
Kind of it is.
For sponsorship on the pod. Would love that. Basically, and so when he left, because I mean it was a grind there at the very end. Yeah. He asked me, he's like, well, how do I find a job? He goes, the last time I was on the job search, the internet did not exist. And I was like, holy cow, you're old. And so basically, I took a day and like I talked to my wife and I was like, how do I explain to a very non-technical person who the internet didn't exist, how to find a job? And basically what I did is I gave him the framework of what a recruiter does. I was like, you know, when I was at Vaco, me and my team were responsible for meeting 3 people a week. So we had to have like 15, what we called Vaco interviews, which is like screening, you know, a candidate. And, you know, for us, so then I told my dad, I was like, listen, I'm not saying you got to do 3 a day, but I was like, I think you need to at least have 1 a day or two conversations a day. So I didn't know your thoughts on that.
No, I totally agree. Also, Dave is an amazing individual. Dave, he was my boss. Great guy.
I love that.
So yes, I totally agree. I think the more you put into it, the more you're going to get out of it. Like this, at the end of the day, it kind of is a numbers game, right? Like if the more people you talk to, like the greater your chances are of like finding that opportunity, right? Same thing with expanding your network. Like the more people, the way that you, I guess, variabilize it, like how many different industries, like you open yourself up to so many opportunities that you didn't even think were possible for you prior to.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I totally agree. Yeah. 2 a day is great. If you can do more than that, if you don't have a job, it is your job. Finding a job is your job.
Correct.
You have to sell yourself.
Noah, our boy Noah, I've been on the search for a few months now, and I've had 1 or 2 recruiters reach out. How do I get more? So
Reach out to
I have
them.
a thought here, but you're the guest. So I'll let you go first.
No, definitely reach out to them. That would be my
I would say you need to reach out to them, Noah. Yeah. And I think like, you know, a lot of times I think the biggest complaint is, well, all these agency recruiters and really recruiters in general say they can't help me right now. But the thing is I think there's a few questions to ask recruiters on a call that I think could help. And we talked about this in Laid Off Lounge, which plug for our Discord. I do a basically bi-monthly kind of 30-minute chat to answer people's questions. I actually have another recruiter who's a friend of mine coming in on the live and Laid Off Lounge Thursday, tomorrow. I think here, like some questions to ask agency recruiters if they can't help you. 1, how does my resume look? Give me 1 piece of advice, right? To be honest with you, I think agency recruiters are the best at writing resumes. Like all these like resume writer, career coaches out here are so disconnected in my opinion. I even got mad at my dad. My dad paid her for a resume writer. I was like, Dad, you realize I do that, right? So unfortunately, whoever he paid did not do a good job. It was a very standard template that everybody does. Ask them that. Ask them, can you give me one recommendation to make my LinkedIn better? Can you, what am I asking salary wise as compared to the industry?
Yeah.
Right. I think agency recruiters, I think you have a really good idea of your industry and how much people charge and how to position yourself, because you could be asking for too much. You could be asking for too little. So I think that's incredibly important. So thoughts on that? Any other questions that people should ask? If a recruiter can't help them in the moment, is there anything else somebody should ask?
Yes, I definitely think I don't know if it's necessarily like ask, right? Like I would just reach, if they didn't have anything in that moment for you, like keep me in mind for when you do, right? But you have to make that impression, like reach out to them, connect, stay like engaging with them on LinkedIn or social media or whatever. Try to, talk to them as much as you can. Yes, all of those questions, amazing. I agree. People are not professional resume writers, but people who work in agency recruiting know resumes. I've said a million times, like I should start a side hustle writing resumes because
I don't actively promote it because I never want to be as a resume guy, but people have reached out to me to help them with their resumes, and my batting average is pretty high for getting them a job just based off their resume.
I love that.
Because again, like we know what we're looking at. Also, another tip that I have as well, I call it the BCC trick. It's not a fancy name. It's just a BCC trick. Get emails for all the recruiters you like. Have a reminder to send out an email once a month, and BCC all the recruiters and be like, hey, just checking in.
Mm-hmm.
Reminder, here's what I want. Here's what I'm looking for. Here's what I'm good at. Because I think you can attest to this as an agency recruiter. We deal with so much. We can't keep up with everybody all the time.
Yeah. I'm going to add to that I, from a sell yourself perspective, I don't know that I would BCC. I feel like it needs to be more personalized, like in order to stand out. Like if it were me, I think that also depends on the person that you're talking to. You know what I mean? Like some people are like, oh yeah, like that's great. But I think other people would prefer like personalized communication. Not everyone has the time to do that. So anything you can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. I'm going through the comments here. A lot of Outback comments. Proactively reach out to them. Tip: call recruiting places to get them working on your behalf. Yeah, again, like we get paid if you get paid. So we have an invested interest.
Totally.
Let's see here. Brian goes, all this is very new to me. How do you even begin to look for recruiters to reach out to and try? This is a great question. Thoughts?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think do your research on the, they're Randstad, obviously. I'm going to ship Randstad all the way.
Yeah. Why not?
So do some research, find some people on LinkedIn, just like you would if you were trying to find somewhere to work. Like if you wanted to work in a specific company, find people that work at that company, find the recruiters who, sometimes they're linked to job postings, like on LinkedIn specifically.
Well, expound on that real quick, because I don't think people know that.
Okay. So when recruiters post their jobs on LinkedIn, most of the time, unless they do it anonymously, which I don't know why anyone would do that, but most of the time you have the ability to see the person, like the internal recruiter, the agency recruiter who actually posted that job. And when you do that, you can easily go to their profile. It'll also show you like other potential contacts at that company based off of who posted that job. So if you use LinkedIn to the best of your, like to the most that you possibly can, you will find like it can be extremely beneficial. It really helps you expand your network without you even really having to do like so much.
Yeah, absolutely.
That makes sense.
All right. So I'm going to share let's do a real time example here for Brian. So what I would do, Brian, is first off, I would do a search for tech recruiter. Like just start. So like Brandon, I don't know Brandon, but Brandon's a tech recruiter at YouTube. Hit up Brandon. Hey, Brandon. Yeah. Like, here's what I do. Here's what I want to do. Do you have any thoughts on how to get connected more at YouTube? Michael Newman, tech recruiter. Heidi is hiring a senior contract. Well, that obviously that's recruiting, but like I'd hit up Heidi, right? Like literally I Google tech recruiter and you can see all that's who's posting. Another thing too, like if you're a developer, type in software developer, or if you want to get more specific on things, but you can see right here, all the people that are commenting, but then all the people who are looking for jobs too pops up as well, right? Yeah. And so this is an example right here, right? So Wolf is hiring a senior Ruby engineer. Osh posted the job. This is what Jordyn was talking about. Everybody see that? So again, what I would do is I would hit up Osh and be like, hey, Osh, saw you were posting. Didn't know if I needed to directly apply. Would love to talk to you more about this role, yada, yada, yada. So I really think like it's that use the search feature within LinkedIn. It's not the best, right? Let's just call it what it is. It's not the best, but it's a good place to start.
It is. And it'll tell you too, like if the more you have on your profile, right? Like where you went to college, like what your interests are, it will actually tell you like how many people in your network or how many people who also attended like the University of Alabama currently work there. Or
so I'm gonna interrupt you quick. You've brought up college a few times now. Talk about why you think college is so important.
Because people love, like there's this sense of, I mean, because you went to South Carolina, especially if it's an SEC school.
Yeah,
right?
SEC school, I just like it's all
driving that home. Like I have sold that way before. You know what I mean? Like, roll Tide. Like, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't have to go to South Carolina, but if you message me, you're like, hey, SEC guy, how's South Carolina Gamecocks football going to look this year? I will respond to you 11 out of 10 times.
Well, same. And even for me, like if if someone went to Auburn and they messaged me and they're like, Bama sucks, I'd be like, let's fight about it. And then we get a conversation. You know what I mean? And vice versa.
Yeah. And again, this is huge. What Jordyn's bringing up is I would really look at people's LinkedIn before messaging them and see if you have something in common, right? I also think too, putting a little bit about you in the about section about like what you want to do. Outback is overrated, Jeff. Yeah. I mean, like, listen, like,
calm down.
Yeah, absolutely. Really? People say iced coffee stinks and hot coffee's better. I'd say you're a crazy person, but like we'll talk about it, right? So, again, like I think people desperately right now want to like connect at a more meaningful level than just job stuff. Yeah. And so I think if you can break down that wall, that's huge. This obviously went completely different than I expected it. This
interview. Immediately no.
Yeah. So I do want to talk about career transition because I know we've been talking about recruiting, and I do want to get to this. Talk about just advice, tips. I mean, you went from real estate into recruiting. You didn't know any better. Talk about maybe just some tips just for career transitioners in general.
Yeah, I will say this. It's really funny because the podcast episode that I released today actually.
Yeah. If you want to plug the pod, go ahead.
Yeah, Hired and Wired. Listen to it. It's a great podcast. At least I think so. But again, biased. So I want to start off by saying that I think career transitioning is absolutely terrifying. Like when you're going into somewhere brand new, you have no idea what the hell you're doing. Like you're like, I've never been in this position before. But when I left real estate, I was so miserable. Like in the industry that I worked in, I was not happy. I was like, I'm willing to try anything. And Casey Walters is a friend of mine, and he had me apply to this recruiting job.
Yep.
Never recruited, didn't know anything about it.
I didn't know recruiters even existed.
What is a recruiter? What was a recruiter? Like it was no, not for me. But I didn't know anything about tech. And so, but I was willing to try anything. And I went into the interview and it was the environment, like the environment from the moment I walked into that office was so amazing. I was like, oh my God, like I would love to work here. Like everyone was together. It was like this team, like, and if you've ever worked in staffing, like there's a vibe on the floor.
There is.
Like there's a vibe on the floor. It's a good place to work. And I think Randstad's pretty tame in comparison to some others, but anyway. So yeah, I going into it, what I did was I was like, I'm just gonna 100% commit, right? Like I'm gonna learn everything that I possibly can. I'm a big like, if I don't know, like I need someone to explain something to me. Like I'm 5 years old, so I'll Google. Like I remember like YouTubing, like what is a project manager?
Yes.
What is it? What is a solutions architect? Like what do they do? And I used to watch these whiteboard sessions where they would explain from start to finish, like how it worked and how the other like roles build off of that, or how they build off of the other positions.
Yeah.
So that was how I started. And as I went on, I started learning more and more by actually picking up the phone and like talking to people, right? Like letting people yap about their like application development experience. Like you will learn so much by admitting that you don't actually know anything.
And I think that's the ultimate networking. People are like, well, I don't know what to talk about. I don't know what to ask. And it's like, just get the other person talking about themselves, right? I think if you're a career transitioner, I think the biggest thing is like, hey, what's your biggest advice for somebody getting into the industry?
Yeah.
Like people will love to give you advice. And so if you get the other person talking, it's just a huge, huge unlock. What do you think? What do you think people, so obviously talk to your network, see what's out there from a career transition perspective, have conversations, from a just general, I mean, because when you were going from real estate, like, did you have anything else in mind that you want to do? Like, I guess, how did you end up in recruiting based off conversations? I'm kind of curious about that.
Honestly, I didn't have an idea of what I wanted to do. I just knew what
So you were just completely like, I don't know what I want to do next.
Yeah, it was so like I had just moved to Dallas. Like everything was so up in the air. Like I didn't really, I'm telling you, like if you are physically uncomfortable enough in a position that you're in, like a job, you will do anything to get out of it. You don't even care like what it is. You know what I mean? And it was something that interested me because it was something I hadn't done before. Like I love learning new things. I'm a freaking sponge for knowledge, both useful and useless. Like I love that. So for me, that was really the only avenue. And I honestly think I'm a very big, like when it comes to like sensing the environment. Like I really think when I went in there for that interview that day and I felt like the vibes on the floor, I think that is like, I was like, this is it. Like I knew in my gut.
Yeah. I mean, again, even for me, like, I had the reason how I got into recruiting is crazy is I had a crush on this girl. She didn't like me. She liked my lead singer, story of my life. And basically I asked her because I was serving tables at Outback in Nashville, go figure. And I was losing money. And I was like, who do you know? I was like, do you know anybody? And she was like, well, I nanny for somebody who is looking to hire a recruiter. And I was like, well, I don't know what that is. Can you just give me the information? Called into the front desk, got an interview. 2 weeks later, got the job. And now I'm here. And then now I'm here. So again, like just ask, like just, hey, what do you do? And I think I'm really excited to plug Angelo podcast coming up. It's going to be more, Angelos is really going to start talking to people, not in engineering, but just general tech, and interviewing them on what they do to give more of a picture on what else is out there in the tech industry. Because I feel like people are like tech industry developer, and it's like, no. Like there's so much out there, project management, business analyst, data analyst, customer success person. I'm Angelos's first guest. And so I'm gonna talk about how to be a recruiter. What does it look like to be a recruiter, right? And so there's so much out there aside from engineering that I would encourage you all that if engineering isn't working for you, there's many different ways to get into tech.
Yeah, I agree. I love that too because I feel like that will help so many people. Also, you were like networking before you even knew that you were networking.
Isn't that crazy?
That's actually wild. But the proof is in the pudding. Like it works.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It worked for you from day one. You got to put yourself out there, even 100%. If they like your LinkedIn or your lead singer more than they like you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Shoot your shot.
Yeah, overcome challenges. All right. So, all right. This was great. Love this. If you want to connect with Jordyn, she's very active in our Discord. We'd love to have you. Torque.dev/Discord. A little rapid fire here for you as we wrap up. First off, Plug your pod one more time.
Hired and Wired Pod. We're on
And
YouTube.
what is it about?
What?
What is it about?
I think Jason said it best on Laid Off Lounge. It's about everything and nothing. We talk about career topics. We talk about, funny, relatable work stuff.
Yeah.
We work in the office. It's a good time.
I love it.
We have a little bit of a hiccup. I just lost 2 pod members this week. So
there you go. We will rebuild. So go check out Hired and Wired. All right. The first question is if I told you wake up tomorrow, you can't do anything in recruiting, what's one, but I would pay you the same, if not more. Money was not an issue. What hobby would you pursue?
What hobby would I pursue?
For a living?
Probably podcasting. I would really just go all in. Like if money was not an option, not an issue, like 100%. That's what I would do.
I love that. Next question. We're getting close to Easter.
Okay.
The candy is on the shelves. What is your go-to candy for Easter?
No one has another answer to this question besides Reese's Eggs.
Yeah, listen, this could be an entire podcast in and of itself. I don't know what Reese's does, but the ratio is not good in the small cups for sure. I would say not even the big cups. I think the Christmas trees, the eggs, the pumpkins, elite ratio of peanut butter to chocolate.
It's just because they're fun shapes. It's like if you eat fun shapes of mac and cheese, like it somehow.
Yeah, it just automatically tastes better.
You're enjoying the experience more.
I love that. Next question. Anybody kind of in your network you want to give a shout out to, just for what they're doing, just in general, anybody you admire, that you want to give a shout out to?
What's really funny is I watched this podcast, so I know that this question was coming, and I thought about it in advance because I was like, who would I say? Like, I don't know, And then I was like, actually, I'm just going to go real cliche and really sappy. Is like, I absolutely love what you and Jason and Brianna and Angelo and Jimena are doing. You guys are incredible. Like, I think that the sense of community you guys provide to people it's an unmatched experience. Like I cannot stress that enough. Like I think people thrive in human connection. I think people don't always know where to find human connection in this day of modern, everyone's on social media. Like, how do you actually find that deeper thing? And I just feel like you guys hit the nail on the head so much. It's awesome. Like, it's admirable. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you. Jason's not good with feelings. So Jason, just accept it.
Jason. Just take a compliment and move on with your life.
I appreciate it. Next question. And I forget to ask this sometimes, so you may not be prepared to hear. What's like just one fun piece of content you've read, watched, viewed recently? Any Netflix things you're watching, any Apple TV you're watching, just anything fun that you're watching that you really enjoy right now?
I mean, I've been watching White Lotus. I haven't seen the finale though, so like don't no spoilers. Okay. I also started watching Severance last night. I've been hearing so many things on social media. I was like, I have to jump on this train. Immediately was like, this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Yes, it's great. Big fan.
Big fan. You can imagine that.
I'm deep in it for sure. Yeah. All right, last question, and we'll wrap up. The show's called Guidance Counselor 2.0 because we had guidance counselors in middle school, high school, and college, but now as adults, we don't really have a guidance counselor to turn to and ask for general career advice. If you can go back in time, young Jordyn, out of college, what's the biggest advice you would tell her?
Stop being so afraid.
That's what Angie said yesterday.
Like, just do it. Just freaking do it. Like, it's okay. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. Like, how you feel like you might look is not the reality. People think about you a lot less than you think they do. So just do it, and do it loudly. Like, don't minimize yourself. Don't make yourself smaller to feel like you have to fit into places you don't need to.
Yeah, I love that. All right, y'all. Well, thank you again for hanging out with us today. Appreciate it, Jordyn. You're a gem.
Thanks for having me.
Again, if you want to hang out with Jordyn, she's very active in our Discord. So we'd love to have you. Obviously, connect with her as well. And tomorrow, I have my guy Kevin on the pod. Kevin he was the previous COO at Vercel. He is founder CEO at a fast growing startup right now. So we're going to talk about kind of hiring, what it looks like from a startup side of things to consider if you want to jump into a startup versus more of an enterprise environment. So it'll be a great conversation tomorrow. He is awesome. So that's tomorrow. And then Friday, I just booked Lawrence Lockhart. He just got a job. And his strategy was crazy. He and I were DMing yesterday. I was like, whoa. I was like, I just need to interview you. So I typically don't go live on Fridays, but I want to go live with Lawrence because his strategy was crazy. So Thursday and Friday are going to be great. So again, appreciate y'all for hanging out today. And we'll see y'all tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Central. Jordyn, stay on so I can say bye to you backstage. See y'all.
Good, guys.